everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Tried and Tested podcast. I am your host, Tracey. And if you are not familiar with my show, this is a relationship and dating podcast where we talk about all things from your love life to marriage to getting dumped to money to any type of thing that comes with relationships in this day and age. We are going to discuss it. And so today I have a special guest, my dear friend Cameron. Say hey, Cam.
Hey, guys. What up?
So some of you may enjoy Cameron. He was from season 1, and he's been on multiple episodes. So today, without further ado, we are talking about the one that got away. So when it comes to dating and relationships, I feel like there's always that one person. For some people, it's more than one. But that person that you just always, every so often, your mind kind of goes back to them, and you always wonder, like, I wonder how so-and-so is doing. I wonder how life is going for them. I wonder if they're married with kids, or even if they are married with kids, I wonder if they're. So that is our topic for today. So tune in and enjoy. So Cameron, have you ever had the one that got away?
I used to think I did. My my perspective on it kind of shifted over time, but yeah, there was a time where I thought that I had one that got away. Yeah.
Okay, and I would say the same thing. And I would agree with you as far as like you thought that it was the one that got away, but your thoughts shifted. However, I feel like the guy I'm talking about in particular, I did feel like he was the one that got away, but then now, like, when I look at my life now and how things are going in with religion and all different types of things, I feel like if I would have married him, that would have been the wrong person to marry because he wasn't the one for me, but I still have those feelings like that's the one that got away. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
In your case, like, why did you think that the person you're talking about was the one that got away? Like, what happened?
Well, first of all, I would say at the time when I thought it was the person that got away, it's just someone that I was questioning for a while. And, you know, she was just good people, all around good people, and just good vibes and good energy, and I really just enjoyed her company every time. And I just never had the courage to kind of shoot my shot. And then when I finally did, it's just that we were just in two totally different places in our lives, two different geographical locations, and you know, it just like we gave it a pretty valiant effort to kind of just start talking, but it never bared any fruit.
Yeah, it worked. Okay, all right. No, I definitely understand that. Okay. In my case, I feel like it was a little different because we actually were in a relationship. We began a relationship. And when I think of relationships that don't work out, it's kind of like a roller coaster. So it kind of goes up, and then it's just like you hit that high point and then it drops. And that's what it reminds me of. So this was somebody who initially I wasn't even like looking at, like I really wasn't deep. Like he was just regular. And it's like when we actually started like going out on dates, I'm like, wow, like he's super fun. He's a good time. Like I started feeling him, and we started really connecting or whatever. And in this particular case, it's so interesting because he, I think a couple months into dating, he went back home to his country. And after that, like all hell broke loose, and that was it. And so it's kind of just like, imagine like you're going up on that roller coaster and you have that high, and then it's just like things just don't work out anymore. And it's like, so that is like the fear, not the fear, but just the thought of like, dang, like if he didn't go back, or, you know, if things could have been different, what the relationship could have been like. So for me, I always go back in my mind, like, that's the one that got away. Like, we had the most fun. He was the realest. He was this. He was that. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
Yeah, I think for me more so, it's more like it was the what if, the possibility, like just thinking of whatever, like the maybe and the unknown of like what could have came out of it was really exciting for me. And like I said, she was just really good people. And I mean, the thing is, I wish I would have shot my shot sooner. I was a little insecure about, you know, I looked at some of the people that she dated. I just wanted to. I didn't think that I was in the place that the type of dude that she'd be interested in, or even like young 20-something. Like I I like to think about myself as a little bit of a provider, so being able to kind of take you out, wine and dine you. If I didn't have that capacity, I didn't feel like it was worth me shooting my shot. Later on, I realized
you was broke or what?
Even. In my early 20s, I didn't have much to myself. Yeah, not a lot.
Okay.
And
okay.
I thought it was important. Yeah. So,
not a lot. Okay, we got you, bro.
Then I finally finally got the courage up to kind of, say something and speak up. And when I did, it was just like I said, in two totally different places, both like, speak professionally and also geographically. And like, we passed that point of where we could have matured together. It was kind of like, you got to come correct at this point. And I actually gave her a call, I think, like one night, a little twisted, and I was just like, I wish, we could have started this sooner. It, doesn't look like it's going to pan out, and kind of like said my piece.
Oh, well, that's sweet. That's nice. And yeah, like, it's unfortunate. Especially, like I said, I mean, when you try. Like, I mean, I feel like they're the ones that got away, but at least you tried. Like, obviously it was the wrong time, but, so when did you know, though, that she was the one that you thought got away? Like, when did it go from being just a crush to being someone that is kind of just like you actually realize, like, if I was ever asked this question, she's the one who comes to mind?
I've always, because the thing, I mean, I don't know if I could say the moment came. I could just always say that I noticed I'm always at that for that particular person. I've always had like a crush on her. I've acknowledged how I felt. I would be curious to see what it would be like if we were together. However, I just never acted on it. So since the fact that I always had the crush, but I never acted on it, there was always that sentiment. And then when I finally decided to act on it, it just was, it just wasn't the right time.
So
I can't kind of pinpoint. I can't really pinpoint like when I decided, that's the one that got away, because it was just like for a long time it was just crushed, and it was like a long time. And then finally, we started talking, and so I guess. I don't know.
That makes sense. Yeah. No, yeah, it's just all right. So like I feel like the same thing, kind of like with me. So like a little bit about my relationship history. I've never actually been broken up with, which is not necessarily the best thing, because I felt like people would treat you anyhow, and you're forced to break up with them. But in this case, I feel like I kind of broke up with them, but I didn't. But either way, it's like this happened so many years ago. Like, I don't know if it was like 5 years ago or when. I'm not really sure when. But it's just like even now, like every so often, like, not every so often, but just randomly, I'll be like, oh, I wonder how so-and-so is doing. Like I wonder how, and this is somebody who doesn't have social media, so I can't even, and maybe that's what makes it all the more, but I can't really track you in any way, shape, or form. Like I have no idea what's going on in your life, and I feel like maybe that could also be part of it. But it's just like, it's very, very, very interesting. So I was going to ask you, have you ever gotten over it, or is it just something that still lingers?
I think I've gotten over it in the sense of where I need to focus on my current relationships. I think, and that's how my my mentality shifted. That you can't really be fair in your current relationship if you always think about the one who got away. You know what I'm saying? Like you kind of like, and the one who got away is based on pretty much like what ifs and maybes. So I can't build a foundation for my life on what ifs and maybes. I need to just move on. I can acknowledge that I have feelings for that person in that time, and I can acknowledge that, that's how I was feeling, and I was really passionate about it. But I don't necessarily not have to check in on that person. Like, I ain't gonna hold you. I check in. I check the Instagram feeds. I check the what I'm saying, like I see the updates. She's clearly moved on with her life, so that's cool, and I'm happy for her because she seems happy, and I'm happy too.
Yeah.
So.
Aww.
But it's just that, I just think like you can't really hold on to that one who got away if you're looking to have healthy relationships moving forward, because you got to focus on what's in front of you.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't feel like, I'm not saying, like, hold on to them, but I'm just saying, like, from time to time, like, it just pops up in your mind, and that's when you start to realize, like, wait, like, that really must be somebody important. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, definitely. Like, definitely it has to be somebody important, and I do think about it, and in the way I think about her and her well-being. But like, I can't think about like I try not to have it in the context of the one who got away, because like, you say for example, we ended up together. Like I said, it's a bunch of what ifs and maybes. Like we were together and we had a relationship, and it blossomed into something. But who's to say that it would have lasted? So it's like the thing that I kind of, I don't want to say wish for, but like it would have been dope. It would have been dope to see how we were together. But I wouldn't say it's like like now. I don't want to say now it's the one who got away. It would be dope to see how we would have been like together, but I can't really say like, oh, that's the one who got away anymore, because again, I gotta focus on what's in front of me. And if you dwell on that what if and that maybe, I don't think it's fair to the situation. But the home, like I said, I do check the Instagram, I do check the I do check the Facebook, I do, every once in a while just to see what's good, and I check for the like here and there if you view my story, like I'm human.
So like a baby stalker a little bit.
Not like a baby stalker, but like if you pop up, we are mutual friends, so of course if we have mutual friends, so if I see a post and you're featured like in the mutual friends picture, like, oh snap, I wonder how such and such is doing. Let me check in.
Yeah. No, I definitely understand. And I think
not check in like call them, like check in like let me just scroll through real quick.
Yeah, see what's going on. But like, I mean, that's what social media is good for. It feeds that, whatever it is that you're looking for. Like I said, when they don't have social media, it's a whole nother ballgame, because you let your imagination run wild, But I definitely would say, like, I know you mentioned that you were really passionate, and that's the truth. Like, I feel like in those situations, the love feels so real. Like, it feels like there's something there. And the difference between the one that got away and the relationships that you may have had that didn't work out is at least they didn't work out. In these situations, you don't really know where they could have ended up, what could have happened. You know what I mean? And so it's just kind of like it's always like a little thought or whatever. So I was going to ask, what happens when you see them? Like, obviously, I'm assuming that I know the person that you're talking about, so I'm sure you'll see them on social media, right? But have you seen them in person at all? And this is in the past, not now, but when you were having these feelings.
Well, I haven't seen them recently, and I don't think I mean, the likelihood of us running into each other, I won't say it's unlikely, in the sense of like it could never happen, but I mean, if it does, it does. It's like I don't think anything of it. And honestly, I don't think she thinks of me or checks in on me as much as I probably with her. So I don't know if it's. Okay. I mean, I can't say that for sure, but I don't know if it's mutual.
Okay, no, that definitely makes sense. And for me, like, I think I've ran into this person like in the last, I don't know, like I honestly don't remember how many years ago it was, but in the last whatever years, I think I ran into the person twice. So the first time I ran into them, I honestly, like, I was frozen. Like, you know how in the movies when you see people and they're standing still, their mouth is dropped open, they can't say anything, like there's no words coming out? That was my first, like, experience. And I was really like, wait, like, this is real. Like, these movies are not lying. Like, that's how I felt the first time I saw them. But in between that time period, like, it was a situation where I actually feel like for him, I'm also the one that got away, which is funny enough. But you know how sometimes people like to go back and forth and play games and, just all this chaos to kind of like out of being proud and stuff like that. So I feel like it was that situation. But anyhow, I saw him again a second time. And at this point, like I had been receiving calls from a blocked number for like weeks. And I was just like, okay, like I'm over it. Like I had just left it alone. And when I saw him, I happened to be out at a lounge. I don't go to lounges anymore. But when I was about that life, I was out on a date, actually, a double date. And I saw him, and once again, like, I was just, like, frozen because it's like I would see him at the most unexpected times. And when I was there with my date, who was actually the DJ for the night, and we were sitting in our little VIP section, and he actually sent the manager of the lounge over to us and asked us, like, what drinks we want. And I felt like that was really disrespectful because you see I'm out on a date. And two, you know I don't drink. So I allowed my friends to get drinks, but I didn't get none. But that was the last time I saw him, and I think the last time I heard from him. But it's all love, so I think I'm glad you laughed. I know why you laughing. And so I guess you kind of already like spoke about this, but like, do you think about what life could have been with this person? Like, do you think about what?
I used to a lot. Like I ain't gonna hold you. I used to a lot. Like especially when I finally got the courage to like say something and speak up. And I was like, oh man, this could be it. I called my homie, like one of my good friends, and like he knew about it for a while, and I let him like, yo son, like this is what it is. So I was like, oh, this like I was just excited. Like I was just mad excited. Like this is like I gotta play it smart. I gotta make sure I got all my ducks in a row. Boom, boom, and like I said,
was that your ducks in a row?
No, I was making sure that I gotta make sure I gotta get my ducks in a row. I gotta make sure I'm out here, doing what I need to do so that I can provide, the life that I thought that she would be looking for. Yeah. So
you was ready, like you was ready to risk it all.
Well, you know how you know me personally, so like I don't play games. So if I'm trying to be with somebody, so but after and I thought about it for a while, and then also too after we had that kind of like conversation closure of like like it's not gonna happen, like let's not even kid ourselves. When we had that conversation, I thought about it for a while. I thought for a while after that, and then I just realized, it doesn't. Especially when I, see her moving on and things of that nature. And I was also moving on myself, and I was like, like I need to be fair to me and what I got going on in front of me, and I got, I got goals for myself, and I'm building a life with someone else. So, what's the point in kind of holding on to this feeling like, essentially, and I mean, there's nothing bad or anything, just, life moved on.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and I mean, like, the same kind of, I guess, thing with me, like, I was ready to, like, I was somebody who didn't really ever think about marriage. Like, I was just kind of like, oh, okay, like, I was dating just to experience dating, but I never really thought about marriage. But with this one, I'm like, yes, okay, so it's December. By next December, I should be engaged. I had put it on my vision board. Like, I was ready. Like, I was cooking in my house. If you know me, that's not something I do all the time. Like, I just I cook in season, so I might cook this season. Next season, I might order takeout. The season after that, I may order takeout some more. So it just really depends. But
and
with that, I was like, I was spending all. But I'm serious. Like I'm someone who likes my personal space, and I was spending every day with this person, like before work, after work, talking to him at work. Like this was for real. Like I was just like, and I could actually picture and vision my life with somebody long term. So yeah, that was definitely
I think that's the unique thing, though. I think that's the unique thing about like your situation and how you explain it is the fact that you actually dated this person. You actually, like, for me, I can't relate to, because I haven't been in a relationship where I saw like, oh, I haven't dated someone or been that, like, in that capacity where I thought like, oh, it didn't work out, but this is the person that got away. I've been in situations where like, maybe I wasn't very fair in the way this ended and how it ended, and I came back to say like, acknowledge it and address it, but I never was in the relationship with the person who I felt like, at any moment where I felt like they got away.
Yeah, no, that's a good.
So I guess that's different.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a difference, but I feel like overall the feelings are, the same. So before we close or whatever, like, how important do you feel like it is to kind of, I know you kind of already spoke about it a little bit, but how important is it to kind of close that chapter in your mind? Because this is where things are happening in your mind, that if you guys are not physically together. But when do you feel like it's important to close that chapter and kind of move on and continue on with other relationships?
I think it has to happen naturally. Like, I think it has to happen in a way that's just organic, and you just acknowledge it and just be real with yourself. Like, this ain't what it is. It's not going down like how I envisioned. It's not going to. So, I just need to let it go. And I think that's when you realize it. But like, to kind of force it and shut it down, I don't think is natural or healthy, because like whether you fictionalize this whole future in your head, or it's something that you were working towards and it just didn't pan out, like, you still got to give it that time to get out. Because if you don't address it, then that's how. If you don't acknowledge it, that's how you always go back to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't acknowledge that, like, oh, these feelings were there. If you kind of just avoid them, then you're never going to have the opportunity to really confront them. And since when you don't confront them, then you want to be just kind of in the same limbo of back and forth. Like, anytime something doesn't work out, it's like, man, well, if I was with this person, I wouldn't even have to worry about this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So closure, like some type of closure, definitely.
Yeah, but it has to come internally. Like, like, I don't think it's just something like, oh, I got to cut this person off and get them out of my head. Like, no, like, you just have to come to the realization and accepting it and cope with it in your own way.
Yes. Well, I mean, this has been a really insightful topic and discussion, and I definitely have some things to think about afterwards, just in general. But I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out to be our special guest today, Kim. And any parting words before we leave? Anything, your social media, Instagram handle, whatever, like, let the people know, give the people what they want, Annie.
Okay. Well, they can follow me on Instagram at Fontaine Concierge and at Matches Malone 87.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much. And for all the lovely listeners, I thank you so much for taking out the time. And until next time, I don't even know what to say. Goodbye.